with no voice in borrowed rooms, to the magazines that carry their truth. 25 years of the same steady hand, finding the ones who fell through the cracks of the plan. From Mitcham to Croydon, from London to the world, every flaggy planet said, you matter, you're hurt, but there's a man who finds you in the car.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. You know, so I always love that song. You know, Mike, you're a genius. If Mike is here, I'm sure he will be. Right, how are you, Dr. Yvonne? You know, it feels like a strange time, but it's not really, is it?
No, not really. I don't know. I'm doing really pretty good. Let me turn off my music. I'm doing pretty good today. Thank you, Annie. How are you
Excellent.
doing over there?
I'm all right. I don't know. It feels like a weird time. I don't know why.
It
Maybe
does.
because I've been burning the candle through the middle again. Because I went to sleep this afternoon. So I woke
Oh,
up like
geez.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I've got 7 pages left of my book editing to finish that book that I told you about. Seven
Yes.
pages. So I've done. I did very well. So I got through quite a lot in my
Wow.
morning. So I'm excited. And then
hmm
of course it's your book. Yay! Yay! Yay!
It's strange. I've just been having so many people ask me if I'm writing a book. You remember when we first started talking and you said that, and I'm like, you're the third person. Now it seems to be a lot more people. I'm going to close this roof.
Yeah. I don't know what you're closing, but
The roof of my
you.
car, because I'm sitting still and it's hot. It's actually really pretty here today. I'm in Illinois and in the United States, and it's still sort of winter, but it's supposedly spring. But last
Yeah.
week we literally had a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Today it's beautiful and it's 62 degrees.
Excellent. Well, maybe that's partly why I feel a bit weird because it's cold. I woke up cold. I'm like, damn, and you can turn the
Mm.
heating up very quickly. Okay, so why are we not on LinkedIn? Why is LinkedIn is saying starting soon? I don't know why it's doing that. But so we're on YouTube though. That's the important thing.
Hey, YouTube.
you know, oh, LinkedIn has been doing this sporadically is the word for it, right? I may just have to change my invite message to people.
I don't
That's
know. It
really,
depends on like where the link goes because as you know, I just had issues trying to pick up the link from WhatsApp.
mm,
And then I got a message from someone that I invited, one of my partners, and I sent it to him on WhatsApp from you. And I just got a message from him saying, "Do I have the wrong link?" So
yeah, yeah.
I'm hoping he can get on there because
No,
I
so
can't get to him.
that's what that's what I'm saying. We're live in everywhere, but we're not live on YouTube on LinkedIn
That's weird.
because LinkedIn seems to have, LinkedIn is still saying starting soon, which is very odd. So normally, what I have to do now is send my YouTube channel link
Oh,
because we're live on YouTube, so we know that's working. So let me copy for my YouTube channel and for the
okay.
video.
And then
And should I
I'm
send it to
gonna
your WhatsApp or should I send it to your LinkedIn?
you can send it to my LinkedIn, I guess, and then I can send it to the other people that I sent on to to WhatsApp.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I've always got the message because I several birds on one stone. No birds were harmed during this experience of any killing birds with one stone, right? So I'm just telling you. And plus, I get messages saying you kill birds. No, I don't kill birds. Not really. It's a figure of speech, as we say. Linda, leave me alone. Anyway, look now. What have you been up to? What
Me?
exciting? Yeah, what exciting things do you do when you're
Oh my
not?
God.
You know,
So
you
w-
whole week in between, right?
I there's a lot going on because we're just in the throes of elections and special elections, other things like that, and um, the people of America are speaking, and you know I will speak for the people that I know or the
Mm,
people that I have some communication with or some touch base with.
mm.
We are really, really sick and tired of being considered like literally the worst country in the world right now. Um,
Yeah,
and
I mean, America has earned the status, right?
ugh,
I
Jesus,
can't really say that. No, okay, let me not
no,
antagonize my American friends and family. They think I'm being
no.
mean. Linda, I see you. I see you twice, in fact, Linda. I don't know which one
What?
is which. One
See,
has
I'm
a
telling you,
picture.
it's that link. It's that link. I'm
It's
telling
not
you,
the
it's the
link.
link.
Something's in that. It's
Hello.
right.
Let me
Hello,
see if I
Linda.
can
Right. Listen,
share
Linda's
this.
the one that hasn't got a picture. So one's got a picture, but I can't see you. We can't see you on on the picture. I can see you on my
Let's see, how do I do this?
backstage. I can see. Yeah. Okay. There you go. All right. There's only one Linda now. How are you doing?
Blessed, brother. Blessed to be there. I'm so good. Glad to get connected with you on LinkedIn as the Godfather. That's so cool.
When you said that in
Let
your
me
message, I'm like,
see.
leave
I'm
me
gonna
alone.
send
Leave
it.
me alone. No, it's hard to
So I'm gonna send it
it's hard
here.
to believe that you are anything more than yourself, right? I
Here.
guess, and
I'm just me. I'm a human being, and just grateful
exactly.
to be amongst some amazing people. So I'm very grateful that you are as tenacious as you are. And Dr. Yvonne, I get to see her too, so I feel very blessed and special for that as well.
That's really sweet.
Excellent. No,
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here as well. So of course, we'd love to hear some of your thoughts on our topic if you want to share a good time. Now let's get started. Yeah, we can see you
Okay.
now. Yeah, we can see you. So let's get started, and then so of course then we'll bring you in, Linda. So please be patient with us, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Yvonne, take it away. Take it away. So our last event was how do you have a soft landing
Yes.
following narcissistic abuse?
Yes.
My favorite one ever is a Dark Knights of the Soul event, but let's then we'll pass that now. So now, we're talking about the stages you go through
Well,
to recover and find yourself, right?
I think I think that um Dark Night of the Soul, which was a great conversation, kind of couples with this a little bit as we were speaking about it last night. And it's kind of where you delve really deep into loving yourself. And what that simply means is you have to be completely honest with yourself. And sometimes that hurts. And this is all the work that you have to do, meaning it's a lot of work that you have to do in order to give yourself permission to say no to things that no longer serve you, or no to those people or those people, situations, or places, that will not serve you because they can no longer uh, usurp your authority, or make you feel like you're stupid or imagining things. It's where you actually understand the power of no and how powerful no can be for your own self-esteem, your own growth, and knowing yourself, right? So for me, what I found out when I was going through dark night of the soul is that I really had been choosing everybody else in my life except me. And as disturbing as that might sound to some people, the fact is, if we don't learn to say no, we will never choose ourselves, because we're always going to be, in that mindset of pleasing other people. So what happens when you please other people? You totally forget about yourself. Because half the time when we're pleasing other people, that's not what we would normally do, either for ourselves or even for that person, if we weren't trying to please them. So I believe that, like, the next steps, when you're getting out of these narcissistic and abusive relationships, whether we co-sign them or not, right? When you start understanding that, hey, I really do choose myself, I really do value my opinion. And no, I really don't care where you stand on whatever the given situation is, but I know that that situation is not right for me. So because of that, I'm going to tell you no. And that to me is part of, well, one of the most powerful things that come out of loving yourself, because there's no more substitution um, to get other people to the point where they're happy and you're sitting there going, geez, I really didn't want to do that. Or, geez, I'm really not happy about doing that. Or, they say hindsight is always 50-50. Um, oh my God, why did I do that? So I think when we start loving ourselves more, and then we start putting pen to paper, how do we feel about this? How did it make us feel? Why did I do this? And you start pouring everything out on paper, and you make yourself your own best friend. I got a very long time ago, I think I was in high school, and I had an aunt that I used to like a lot. That's another story. And the one thing she said to me was this: make an alter ego, not one that lives in the id. I'm saying that part. But your alter ego should be your best friend. And she used her middle name, Doreen. And she said, Doreen is my best friend. And when I started thinking about life that way, when I finally realized that all the bullshit I had been really going through is because I felt really brainwashed. And then I felt like I was basically nothing because of all of the crap I was answering to and doing that I did not want to do, but it pleased other people. So, yeah, my best friend became Marie, right? Which is my middle name. And after pouring everything on paper, looking in the mirror, doing the mirror exercise, and not hating what I saw in the mirror, not to say that I hated myself, but maybe I had body dysmorphia, or maybe I was starting to believe, not maybe, I was starting to believe what people were saying about me. Even down to my mother, like, I can't believe some of the things I had to go through being the youngest daughter and always sticking up for my mother, just to know that the feelings were not reciprocated. Okay. It's part of going through dark night of the soul, being really honest with yourself. So once I started making myself my own best friend, not looking for anything on the outside, understanding that just because I entered into a union doesn't mean that that was necessarily the best thing for me. And then being able to look at that union as what it was. In fact, I probably just took the place of, at that time, my spouse's mother, because I definitely wasn't a lover. You don't treat your lover like that. You want to please your lover. You don't want to just do whatever you're doing and roll over and keep it going. And that might be in the sexual uh, arena. It might be, just at home, period, or whether or not they acknowledge your existence unless they want something. So for me, I think you have to do the inner work and you have to be truthful with yourself about the inner work. If you're too lazy to do the work, then you're too lazy to really push forward with what you want to do or how you want your life to be. So for me, the next step was being honest, completely honest with myself and choosing myself first. Now, that doesn't mean that, you have this super ego built up and, I'm the best, I'm this. No, it's more like that doesn't suit me. I don't like how that feels. I don't like what you did to me. I don't like how you speak to me. I don't like the fact that you lie to me. I see every single thing that you do in order to either get out of the house, get out of the situation, get out of the discussion, or just not take accountability. I'm your mirror. But first, I have to be my own mirror and I have to reflect what I like to see in myself. Make sense? You
Muted. So
see
yeah,
now?
no, definitely makes it makes perfect sense. I suppose what I'm hearing is that it's not just when it comes to the your relationship with a partner. I think it sounds like once you escape a narcissist, then take no bullshit really. Literally, and,
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with being that. As like any would be delusional, crazy. And yes, I'm the greatest sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with that at
no,
all, is it?
no, no, no. I think you really have to pull yourself back up. See, because part of being in a narcissistic situation, whether it be with, your family, your spouse, your job, your boss, whoever it is, your siblings, you have to start singing your own praise because the whole part of being with someone who tears you down is they want you to think that you're less than.
Mm.
They want you to believe that even though you were this shining beacon, that the light, the glare, it killed them. It killed them. They want to see you fail.
Yeah, yeah.
They
No,
want to
again,
see you fail. So
again, I think that it's weird that it's not. I think we tend to almost compartmentalize people, our relationships into that's a narcissist, so that's the one I don't like. That's the one I need to, you know, fight to, be strong against, so to speak, right? Well, in reality, like you said, there's many people who are trying to drag you, who are trying to drag us down. There are many people who
yeah,
who are narcissists. They're not, they no, they try and just tear us down. And they say I'm not for entertaining those people either. So that I can definitely accept. So poor Linda is jumping up and down. Linda she's in, she's not, and then she's back again. Like just
is she back?
please, yeah, no, please, keep persisting, Linda. Please, keep persisting. Who's I said Mr. Calm is here on my YouTube. I don't know who else is here. There's a good few. There's a few other people here as well. My friends on YouTube, do say hello. Say hello. If you don't say hello, if you don't make a comment, I can't see your name, right? Whereas if you want me to say, I want to welcome you properly, right? So please make it. Say where you join us from. Say hi. Say how your day's going. Say something. Then I can definitely welcome you properly. What's Mr. Calm say? I'm coming to you right now, Linda. Say Mr. Calm says yes, making sense for sure. Reclaiming your sovereignty. That's
Wow,
that's that's the way,
that's
right?
good.
Mhm.
That's good. That's actually true, but that's really good. Thank you. Yeah.
Linda, thank you for joining us on stage. How are you doing? No, you're muted. You muted yourself. I want you. You're suddenly muted. It's not me. I haven't muted you.
Here,
So
I found
yeah,
it.
yay,
I'm
yay.
on a mobile device.
Hello,
I'm not on my PC.
back.
Hi.
Excellent. Yeah.
Sorry.
What's going
No,
on?
no. Linda, you can hear Linda. Can you see Linda? You can. No, so I can see you waving, but no, so you can see Linda now, right?
Hello. I can mute
Doctor
my mom.
Yvonne.
I can mute.
No, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. It is
Oh,
your time. Dr. Yvonne, are you still there?
Dr. Yvonne? She's beautiful. I'm so jelly. She
Yeah.
has stunning camera presence. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful light and soul.
Dr. Yvonne, you can't hear us or you can't see us. Which one is it?
I can see you both. I can see
No, yeah,
Dr. Yvonne, and I can also see Annie at Global.Media because
yeah,
I'm on the
yeah,
restream.
yeah. So I don't know why Dr. Yvonne is looking at her device in a worrying fashion. Can you hear us or not? Can you hear us, Dr. Yvonne? No?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you
Oh,
hear us? Can you hear us or not?
The the,
Okay.
the tech. Hopefully she didn't leave because I like her. She's nice.
No, she'll come back in. No, so she
Okay.
is brilliant. For what she does as
Okay.
well. I would say, that's just sort of, I think someone saying, I don't know who
'Cause-
Sigma is. So who's two Sigma? No idea. They're from Detroit. This is the beauty of LinkedIn, right? On LinkedIn, you know who's who. You can see their name. It's so much easier. Life is
Right.
so much easier, right?
So
But
I'm trying to get verified with Clear Data to be a verified LinkedIn person, right?
mm,
Because I've had some really interesting interactions with various entities on LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah. I don't think I tried to get verified. And
Yeah,
I guess
Clear Data, I think, is the verification. I guess it varies on region, right? Perhaps.
no. Everyone can get verified. They ask for a piece of ID, driving license, passport, something like that, right? You know,
Right. I don't think they let fake people, but there's a lot of bots because of that artificial intelligence mess. Oh my gosh, what a royal
mm,
pain in a hind end.
mm, mm.
Oh, bless America.
So it is. LinkedIn is better for lack of bots, if that makes sense. Because you know who's who. Everyone is human. Everyone has a name. Everyone has. You know where they are as well.
Yeah, but sometimes there's hackers that come through. Somebody hijacked my LinkedIn account.
Really.
Yeah, like I don't know, I think it was during the 2015 cybersecurity thing,
Mm.
they acted as if they were me and propositioning jobs on LinkedIn, and I'm like, "Holy mess, hold up. Who's doing that? I didn't
Wow.
authorize I didn't authorize you pitching that mess. Who are you and why are you doing that? What's going on?"
Very annoying. Dr. Yvonne, can you hear us now?
yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I had to go into another phone. So,
Yeah, blame the tech, blame the tech. So our friends are commenting as well. All right, two Sigma. If you could tell us, if you can put your name in the comments, then I will be forever indebted to you. So, Mike, how you doing,
that's
Mike? I'm still.
Mr. Hare. 2 Sigma is Mr. James Hare.
Oh, really? Right. How do you know, Mr. Now, let's talk later. Because Mr. James is on my it's on my WhatsApp, and that's why I've ever met him though. I don't. Have I met? No, that's why I've met him. I might have done years ago. But it's on my WhatsApp, so I started inviting him. How do you know him? But we'll talk later.
The
Anyway.
periodic the periodicals, the Education Man. 2 Sigma is a very large, well, when I say very large, their mission is large for education, and he would be a great person to have on one of your stages. But yeah,
Tell him like what I said. I said now I've started inviting him again to my events. I think we spoke about it when I was doing his book a while ago.
yeah.
So he's been on my WhatsApp ever since, but I don't know James properly. You know, James, let's talk, man. Let's talk. Dr. Yvonne always mentions, and I'm always like, how do you know him? But you know, it's a small world. Anyway, look, Mike says it's a very important topic, but he says, what about if the narcissist is a business colleague? You know.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter how you run into your narcissist. That's kind of a weird way to say it. It doesn't really matter what role or what position the narcissist plays in your life. Here's the thing you have to remember. Everyone has a touch of narcissism. It's literally on a spectrum. Everyone has it. You know, just like everyone has a touch of some kind of something. But narcissism is something that can either be like the ones that I've experienced, which are people that literally have that mental incapacity. They do not recognize any kind of empathy at all. And the thing is, they're attracted to the brightest shining stars that they come into just to take that energy. And once they get that energy, they take it, they harvest it, and then they stomp the hell out of you. So you start feeling less than. So if you have a boss or a colleague that's narcissistic with you, it's not like treating any other narcissist that you run into. It's the exact same methodology. And that is calling them on their crap, holding the mirror right in front of their face, understanding that there are going to be signs and signals that they give. And once you understand those, you know when they're getting ready to start their bullshit. And that's where you cut them off, like, you know, cutting off the head of the snake. So it doesn't matter how you run into them. It matters how you defend yourself, how you really work on not allowing them to get to you mentally and not giving them the nourishment that they need in order to stomp you in the head. So because they're waiting for that reactiveness in you, you know,
That's it.
and you can't give it to them.
Yeah. Linda, you fell off again. I'm trying to find a comment where someone says, "I love, love Linda's accent." Yeah, I guess the more you spend time with the people from the US, more you realize that they have this accent that you don't notice first up. You know, they
mine varies because I'm back home, and it changes if there's alcohol involved. From what my life experience.
Yeah, like I say, the Friday night accent is much different to the Monday afternoon accent. If you ask me, you know, I can revert to my Cockney, British ways, but I try not to. I try and just sound sensible. Yeah, I can even have that African accent if I wanted to half the time, but I try not to.
I do have a quick question regarding this narcissistic thing, because I'm not a PhD in anything except I'm the owner of my own body and soul. No, Jesus Christ owns my soul. I'm just the owner of my body, right? Is the level of emotional intelligence in business when you're having families and you have these issues? I'm trying to work through some and keep people's dignity intact, right? And I am, well over 50, almost 60, but it seems that some of the elders in the family circle, okay, that may be chronologically older, but not necessarily wise. How do you uh, adjust it in such a way? Because that's why I was working with Dr. Kamer, okay? And she was my PhD level neuropsychologist who I adore still to this day, even though she's not with us, whom I went to for a lot of resource and advice and ideas on how to gently handle a situation and still keep my honor intact as well.
So give me the exact question again so I can answer it.
Okay, I'll give you a scenario. It's way personal, and I'm trying to keep everything copacetic because I'm stepping across some lines and I don't want to step on any toes. I was living in Illinois with my own little life, minding my own little business, right? And then with that, what I mean is that I used my military earned benefits to purchase a home and things like this. And then all of a sudden, I had, I'm not going to say that it online, out loud again, because I'm trying to protect, identity.
Right.
But I was put on some medication that I took thinking I needed it, and it wound up putting me incompetent to be able to even manage my own assets. And I think there are sometimes in families where they want you to be on some sort of prescribed medication so that you're docile, so they can lord over you and not allow you what you're supposed to have. What are your thoughts on that?
That's beautiful, because that's exactly what happens. What you're talking about is the narcissism in the family, which, you are probably a changeling. And what that simply means is, more than anything, you are probably the black sheep of the family. You are probably the one child out of, I don't know how many. I'm getting that maybe you had like either 4 or 5 siblings. I could be wrong. I'm just getting this. And basically,
More.
you were the one that said no. You were the one that they called maybe the troublemaker. You were the black sheep, and because of that, you didn't believe the way you were taught, which was age equals respect. And that's how I was taught too. And most people in our generation was taught that way. Number one, you're to be seen and not heard. You chose to be the rebel on that. Number two, just because you're a year or 10 years or 20 years older, you might be older chronologically, but mentally you're completely lacking, and you only see things through one perspective, which which is you, which is reflective of how you feel about life, and not necessarily how life really is. So when you find people like that, what they're trying to do is, again, it has everything to do with control and how you are probably being reactive. So what I'm getting is, now tell me if I'm wrong. What I'm getting is, you were the one that they called, oh, she's the one that's difficult. She's the one with the bad attitude. Everything that wasn't good was you, right? I'm driving, guys. Sorry about that. And because you chose to stand up, but see, you're still treading lightly. And that's that southern part of you, that's that down home part that says, this is my elder. I need to respect that elder. Here's the thing.
Exactly.
Is it okay? Tell me where I'm right, and then I can go on from there. Go ahead.
Because I know it's not all about me, and like being a change agent, right?
Yeah.
I don't want what happened in the past to repeat itself. That's why I was so animate about it, even at 5 years of age down here in Texas, right? So my life choices to put hard lines in the sand, if you will, of time was in
Mm-hmm.
1987. I enlisted in the military because I already saw in my family's home on multiple occasions inappropriate adult behavior, right?
Right.
And a lot of
Right.
times what irritates me is I'm the child at that time prior to 1987. I was a
Mm-hmm.
child and I was winding up being more of an adult, making hard decisions and leaving toxic environments under my own recognizances to save not only my sanity, but my own personal well being.
Mm-hmm. And you were probably the one person. Now, how many siblings were in your family? How many siblings do you have?
Oh,
Did
okay.
you hear
Let
me?
me get that. Yes, ma'am, I
Yeah.
did. I muted my
Okay.
microphone because I'm eating chips and kind of stuff like that. So I'm not trying to check out or anything. I'm just, I have multiple siblings because I have a broken family. I was raised in a broken family out of the get go. And one of my red
Okay.
flags, right? My mama was 14
Mm-hmm.
years old who married a 28 alleged Air Force person. That's my backstory. They got
Okay.
divorced when my mama finally turned 21. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, my mother only had 2 children, and then she got permanently fixed in her 30s to not be able to have any more children. However, my
Okay.
biological father, if that's what he is, he had multiple wives, and he was also a traveler because of cotton gins, right? So
Okay.
I'm not trying to be rude or anything like this. It was just a sign of the times because I wasn't born yet until 69. I don't know how the laws work,
Mm-hmm.
but I know at 5 years old, and after I done seen my mama being beat and stuff like that, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
because my mama's coming to me at 5 years old and asking me, well, if it's okay for her to leave her husband. I'm like 5 years old, ma'am. That's a lot to put on a little girl.
Yeah. That is a lot. But see, your mother, um, and this is kind of what you're doing now, is you have to, or what you're trying to do, is mother yourself. You know, here's the thing. When you're not protected as a child by your mother, you end up being not only an overprotective mother if you become a mother,
I
but you
was a
become an
mother and still am a
overprotective,
mother.
and you're overprotective, right? So
I ish because they're grown, they're
yeah,
out on their own, and I'm letting them be their own man, right? Because they have their
yeah.
own families
But
now.
you were probably very overprotective of them, making sure that they didn't have to go through the things that you went through.
I tried.
That's
I did
part
try.
of, yeah, you try, and it's not going to be perfect because maybe the first person or second person or however many, I only had one marriage, right? I mean, but
Lucky you,
even in
babe.
that marriage, it was still, me trying to protect my kids against what I witnessed in my home growing up. And I'm going to tell you, I
I'm so
had
sorry.
yeah, it's very hard, but I had a very good home. I had a stable home. My parents were together for over 69 years. We immigrated to this country when I was 1.5. My dad was a civil mechanical engineer. Uh, we were raised Roman Catholic, which I am no longer a part of that whole thing. But the point is, we had a very stable and, for all intents and purposes, practically beautiful life growing up with problems like everybody else. But there were no boundaries. What you're talking about are setting boundaries. When you talk about drawing um, a line in the sand, you're talking about boundaries. A lot of us that deal with this kind of situation, there are no boundaries. And because there are no boundaries, you find yourself flailing around trying to figure out what suits you, what's wrong, what's right, and why do I have to do the same things, let's say, my mother did, when I know I don't want to live that kind of life? So at a very young age, you found who was karmic in your life. Your mother was asking for help because she didn't know how to help herself. And what she saw in you was what everybody else was trying to beat out of you. Mother was probably also abused, when she was growing up. So she ended up getting into an abusive relationship, with your father. And this is true of most of us, especially in that time. I'm a 60s babies too. And with us, there was another layer. Because we were foreigners, to this country, my parents were afraid of the things that they had witnessed that in our country they weren't seeing. And the way that they thought or they saw, Western kids being raised in our country it wouldn't have happened that way. Like you would have probably not been heard or seen from again, if you decided to do certain things back then. All right. So you being the changeling, I hate to tell you this, but you're gonna have to hurt some feelings, and you're gonna have to endure some of that criticism. And here's the thing: you can love these people from a distance while maintaining um, your own life, your own
Peace, inner peace.
perspective, and everything. Yeah, and your own inner peace. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Your own inner peace. But they're going to try to destroy you. They're
I
going to,
know.
because they don't want you to let everybody else know
Yep.
what's really going on.
Yep.
When people are abusive or when people lie like that,
Yep.
eventually comes out. But they
Well,
don't want other people to know.
well, here's something a little bit ironic, considering the level of alleged intellect that I have. When my own father died, my my biologic, I always say paternal biologic matter, right?
Mhm.
Because he was never really a father to me. Okay?
Mm.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful of the deceased, but I
Mhm.
find it extremely intriguing on a legality standpoint that the funeral home that buried him refused to give a copy of his death certificate to me, even though that man's name is on my actual birth certificate. How is that legal for them to do that?
It's not. It is not. It is not.
So that's some of
Um,
the crap I have endured, dear. I've
mhm.
endured all kinds of just absolute nonsense that by all rights, and with some other folks, and I'm just blessed. I consider myself blessed because of all the things I've gone through. God must have a purpose for me to be here to tell the story, right?
Yes,
And
he
I,
does.
I, I pray that I am the chain link that didn't allow what happened to me to continue. And I'm so upset with Texas on certain topics that
Mhm.
I had reported it. I reported it to the military when I enlisted in 1987. Why did they not? That man never went a day in court about any of the stuff that has no statute of limitations. What they don't want to realize, what some people don't want people to realize, is that those of us who had issues, not only before military experience, but even during the military experience, even underneath the United States Code of Military Justice, those things do not have a statute of limitations.
No, they don't.
And I
No, they
didn't
don't.
realize that until I was talking with parts of Operation Deep Dive with Dr. Kamer. and I say her name out of respect because she is a very well-respected PhD neuropsychologist. I chose her. We found each other in the state of Illinois at the right time in my life because that's when the demons were starting to attack.
Mm-hmm. That was the beginning of your awakening, and I can hear in your voice that pain. And I'm going to tell you something, it's very familiar. Not in the circumstances, but I can hear it. Why can you hear it? Well, because I started college. I graduated high school in 1980, right? So, my first my first stepping stone into helping women, and this wasn't, it wasn't for money or anything like that, because I was starting my undergraduate studies. And second semester freshman year, I went into crisis intervention training because of the roommate that I had. She was a social welfare major, and part of her major had to do with picking, a program, like battered women or abused children or alcoholism, something like that, and working at it. That was going to give her certain amount of credits. And she was afraid to go by herself, and she chose battered and abused women and children. And there was a shelter in the small town that I went to school in, which was Southern Illinois University, in Carbondale. And if you know anything about Illinois, and if you know anything about the differences, not only demographically, but in every site, in every sort of logistic manner possible. So you're talking about, you know, uh, the housing, the people, the household income, the average income, and also the fact that Southern Illinois, well, it's honestly, it's like being in Mississippi, probably. And it's not to say anything bad about Mississippi, but you wouldn't catch me there. The bottom line is that's kind of like what Southern Illinois is, here. And so I say that to say that women were beaten a lot down there. And the sheriff's department and stuff like that, they wouldn't help these women. So there were shelters that were set up in regular neighborhoods that were homes. And crisis intervention was, like the topic of the day down there. You know, you get to a point in your life where you say it's not fair for other people to go through certain elements of what I've witnessed in my life. Um, and you want to help other people. And I've been helping other women like that for since that time. And so I've sat on over 8 boards for domestic violence. None of any of that was ever done for money. It was done so these women could actually begin to enjoy their life again, remother themselves, and understand that their worth didn't depend or wasn't contingent on a man, a family, or anybody else. It was contingent upon themselves. The pain that I hear in your voice is that of true physical and mental abuse. And that's probably why you chose Dr. Hamer, because of the works that she did. And no, there's no statute of limitation on certain crimes, especially crimes like that. But here's the thing. In order for you to move on, you have to spell everything out. You have to spell everything out, and that's painful. That has everything to do with Dark Night of the Soul. that's painful. You have to write it out. Or, some people like to dictate it. Like I like dictating things because sometimes I don't want to write, you know. Um, and you can't be afraid that you're going to hurt anybody else's feelings because they know. They just don't want to face it. They don't want to deal with it. All right. And them blocking your ability to get your father's death certificate, that was somebody in your family that did that. All right. Because you're entitled to your father's death certificate. And here's the thing, if you still want it for any reason, all you got to do is go to vital statistics in that town or even go through the state. But the bottom line to that is this. It was a means to control. It was just a means to control. And I think I lost her. Did we lose her, Annie?
Well, we lost her on stage. Maybe she's in the audience. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But
But
it's still useful. Say I'll DM Linda later, and if she has to watch a replay, then that at least she'll get the same information, right?
yeah, yeah. So what she is describing is honestly one of the first steps towards healing. You know, I will never forget when I started to actually heal. I had family members that literally locked me out, locked my children out, locked us out of the family, meaning they would tell people, and this was, you know, actually a sibling, would tell people, oh, she doesn't want to come to your event. So it could have been a wedding, it could have been a birthday party, it could have been a graduation. I told you we're a Catholic family. So every single thing that goes on, that moves us up the ladder, any of us, it could be a graduation from kindergarten, we all show up. That's the whole thing about being family. And so when you have somebody that's your sibling telling your cousins and other relatives, oh, she's too busy to come. Oh, she turned down the invitation. And the whole time that's like a lie. And then finally your children grow up not knowing, their other cousins or other aunts or uncles or, which would be my first cousins and my children's second cousins. This sibling did that on purpose. And, my kids came to me and they're like, well, Mom, you always talk about how your family was so close and this and that. And, why doesn't grandma, like you? And why does Auntie so and so say such bad things about you? Well, I can't answer why these people are the way they are, but I can tell you they're lying. And I can also look at my cousins and my other relatives and say, listen, I honestly never got those invitations. It's a way of control. It is a way of making you look bad because remember, they want you to look bad. They don't want people to like you. They want to see you fail. They enjoy seeing you fail. Their whole purpose behind making you look a certain way is to elevate themselves because guess what? They don't measure up to you and they never ever will. But you see, when you're down there and they have their foot on your neck, they like you then because they can control you. So even if she doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, it's not about anybody's feelings. It's right and wrong, and they knew it from the beginning. And if you're going to change anything, if you don't want anyone else that is in your lineage to go through what you witnessed or what you've been through, you're gonna crush a few people's what's a good word for that?
Ego, reputation.
Reputation. That's there you go. You're gonna crush a few of them. But I'll tell you what, so what? So what? I say so what? Because did they care when they were deliberately trying to end you? When they were deliberately walking around and lying about you? They didn't care. They can't care. They don't have that inside of them. That's why they do what they do. Most of these people are freaking, in my opinion, sociopaths, because they can see you crying. They can see blood coming out of you, and they'll still say, look at what you made me do. They take no responsibility. And you might still love them. Like I still love a lot of people. Like honestly, I don't hate anyone. I might not care for their behavior or something about them, but I don't hate them. I just deal with them with a long handle spoon. And my grandmother used to always say that you can love somebody, but you love them from a distance. If they don't care to love you, that's fine. That's beautiful. Because if they want to call your name and say bad things about you, just put a beautiful word on your name and say, anytime these people talk about me badly or send negative energy towards me, I alchemize that and I make it work for me. And I take the positive part of whatever that negative energy is, and I make it just float in my life, and I enjoy my life. No one likes a whistleblower. All right? Nobody likes a whistleblower. But if you keep quiet, especially about things like that, they will continue. But if you make noise and everybody knows, it will stop. And those people will go back under the rock they should have never come out of, or they'll go and seek help, or they'll just kind of die off. But either way, you're making it a safer place for everybody involved. And I will tell you this. One time my children, they were wishing this sibling's daughter a happy birthday. And in the conversation, I said to my children, I wasn't on the phone, but I heard my children begin to bring my name up. And I said, don't bring up my name. You guys are talking to your cousins about, her birthday, whatever. Don't bring up my name. Right. And that little girl was my niece, who I did everything for, literally. All right. And out of her mouth came, oh, well, she probably hasn't had her medication today. And my son, the one that's going to be a lawyer he's graduating a couple weeks, but he was in high school, I think, at the time. I wasn't on any medication. Her mother, the same one that lied to the whole family, was telling people that I was on some kind of mental medication. And her daughter said it in front of my son and, my other two kids. And the middle son literally let her have it. And he's not like me. He doesn't curse or anything. He doesn't like that. But he told her in no uncertain terms, check yourself. And that's a lie. So people will try to make you look a certain way to elevate themselves. These are weak people. These are people that don't have anything going on for themselves. These are jealous people. But they're also the people you have to stop and the people that you have to correct. And if they don't like it, that's their problem. Did you like being under their thumb? Did you like being called names that you weren't? Did you like being labeled as things that you weren't? And did you like feeling like you were less than when they were doing it to you? The answer to all of those things are no. So why don't we let the truth shine on exactly who and what you are? That's how you handle that. And you will lose a lot of people along the way. But guess what? For those empty spaces that they were taking up, the universe is going to send exactly who and what you need when you need them. And not everybody related to you by blood is actually family. It's karmic relationships teaching you a lesson. Now, the question is, did you learn the lesson? And what are you going to do about it? So don't be afraid of giving somebody, especially what they need. Don't be afraid of that. Save yourself and save other people that are coming after you. That's how I see it.
Very deep. That's why I say number one. But number two, I think, is about telling your truth, right?
Yeah.
And you have to tell. I think we have a duty to tell our truth, whatever that is. And the consequences, like you say, some people are going to be put out, affected. Call it what you like, But essentially, we can't be free until we learn to be our true selves and tell our truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like I think like we started off. I think we do have to have that persona, that part of us that is. It's not narcissistic. I think it's just being the real you. I call it the any bubble in my head. The one that's
Mm.
on the day, like, frankly, it's all about me. Yes, I know. I'm not harming anyone, but I'm living my best life, my real self, my loud, gregarious self. If someone doesn't like it, what can I say, right? Get over it. They
They
will
have
get
to
over
get
it
over it,
too.
or they just stay out of your life and you stay out of theirs. It's very simple. It is
True.
for me. It's very, very simple.
Mm.
I'm not going to change myself because you don't like it. Who are you? Like, literally, who are you?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm tired of bending for you.
Mm.
When are you going to
Yeah.
bend for me? And the
Mm.
answer to that would be, I'll never bend for
Never.
you.
Yeah, well, their answer is that they never bend for you, so there's no point we have to say that's why I say now we need to have the boundaries that really says, if you're not helping me, if you're not on my side, I do wonder why I talk to you at all. Really, if all you're
Yes.
here to do is knock me down and trying to drag me back, then yeah, there is no point us talking half the time. yeah,
No, not at
it's not.
all.
It sounds narcissistic, but again, it's not narcissism. I think it's just being the real you and looking after yourself, self love and all that. That's what it looks like. Being that person who truly is your biggest cheerleader.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, it was always, you know, she's a little bit too much, or they always try to make you feel a certain way.
Mm,
Like when I first decided, rather late in life, literally it's like less than 5 years ago, I started to put tattoos to tell the story of what I'd been through. And so there's some people on here that know what I've been through, as far as the not walking and the being sick and the children and all that stuff, and my businesses and just all the stuff that I've been through. But what I went through personally was horrific in my eyes. That's my life, right?
mm,
And I would not want anyone to go through it. Hence this platform, this book, um, and hopefully I'll be able to speak to even more people than the ones that I already speak to, and help even more people, especially women that are getting out there for the first time. And here's the thing. If we stay in these relationships as mothers and fathers, right, and we stay in these narcissistic abusive cycles, and you really think that it's not affecting your kids, just because you put on a pretty face when you go out, it is definitely affecting those children. And now you've made another generation that has to work through the things that you're trying to work through. So become that change in the family or in the workplace, wherever you're experiencing this kind of behavior. Be that change, because it can't just look at our country, look at America right now. I would say the biggest narcissist is sitting in what was considered the ultimate office. No more. No more can it be considered that, because the hate is so hot that there is no way a country that's supposed to be, a utopia, land of milk and honey, which we all know that's not true, right? Because we work our asses off over here. And everything, you have to pay for everything, including garbage pickup. All right. We're supposed to be a superpower, and look at what's going on in our country because of ego, because of abuse, because of money. We've got to take responsibility for our lives and be that change. Be that change so that the rest of your lineage doesn't have to go through what you had to go through or what you had to witness. And you have to set boundaries. But before you can do any of that, you've got to learn to love yourself first.
Yeah. And I said that. That is clear, my friend. That is clear. Michelle, I don't know why you don't comment, but you're here. So thank you for joining us. I mean, there's many more people here, Dr. Yvonne. Let's acknowledge them. Our hour is up, by the way. So I love
Yes, our
how
hour is up.
my co-hosts always say to me, "I just want to do I want to do an hour." I'm like, if you carry on talking, we'll do more than an hour. If you stop talking, I will end the show. But it's on you, right? And let's do some
Well,
of the
yeah,
comments.
I have to get moving. As you know, there's a
Yeah,
lot going on.
yeah. So
There's a lot going on.
let's get through the comments as quick as we can. You might want to answer a couple of them. I think Calm's question: how do you properly heal your wounds without having full control of your total being? If you get that, but hold the thought for a bit. James, yes, Zoom works perfectly for me, my friend. Now let's talk. And James says he still wants a book, the book deal. So let's talk, James. A book deal scares me. You sound like you think I'm a publishing house in that sense. Or I give you an advance.
No, it's about for me, that's a learning tool. What Mr. Hare had. It is a learning tool, and it will
Yeah.
be a periodical. That's in my opinion. Yeah.
Cool. Let's talk. I'll WhatsApp you, James, and then let's meet again, right? I think Mike says that he missed the red flags until they hit him in the face, and he was talking about narcissism at work. If you remember earlier,
Yes.
yeah, and right, it makes perfect sense. So Natalie, I see you now. I'm glad you're here. So I just received this message. Remind that connectivity plus multitasking is sluggish today. It feels very weird today, Nat. I'm with you on that one. It does feel very strange, right? you know, but I don't know. You know, I think because it's so cold. That's my excuse. Right. You know,
Well, we're also in
Alexis.
retrograde, so
Yeah,
we're in retrograde right now, so it's going to feel weird. Communication is going to be weird. Um, so yeah, it does feel strange, but we'll be
yeah,
fine. We'll only be there for a couple more days.
exactly, exactly. So we can't that can't be our reason for
Mhm.
now for being or not being, as the case may be. Right. Alexis, my super editor, glad you're here. It says each comment is spot on and relatable on my part. I like that. I think you were talking to Linda about being overprotective. I think that Alexa says not necessarily overprotective, but extremely attentive. I like that as well. You know,
Yeah, however you want to phrase it, but we
it's,
don't
it's,
let
a, it's, a,
anybody get to our kids. That's the
it's, it's,
thing.
it's a fine line, right? Mama, you know, a mother bear, mama bear, you know, will do what mama bears do. Call it what you like, right? You know, it's just as long as you know. It would, I like the way you describe it, Alexis. Mr. Bill, how you doing? Glad you're here as well. Thank you for joining us. So Bill has his shows and he's very active on YouTube as well. So do connect with him. Have I missed anything? Who's this one? Alex says, they're envious due to their own inadequacies and the
That's
lies.
true. That's true. That is true.
So the
Yeah.
lies sometimes are the truths, not yours. Yeah, that's the point of today's conversation, really, right? Don't entertain and don't live their lies. We have to begin to rewrite rewrite the truth for what it is, right? That way we can move forward. We can't move forward if we insist on putting up with people's lies and what people say we are and how they want us to feel. Natalie says, Dr. Yvonne, using a variety of mindfulness, it's ACT, CBT, these are all psychological models, right? NLP, etc. We can reframe negative into interactivity so that we do not perpetuate the cycle of abuse. For example, mental health awareness is good. Yeah,
Mm,
we can agree with that for sure.
for
You
sure.
know, that reframe bit, I think that's an important thing, right? We can't live in the world that our narcissists create for us in our head, especially. We can't move forward unless we actually deal with that. I think you mentioned it earlier, and in terms of looking in the mirror, what do we say? Do we see ourselves for what we are and love what we see, or do we see someone and then have some level of self-loathing for that person because it is us we're looking at, right?
Well, I mean, when you're doing the mirror exercise, first you're gonna look and you're gonna see yourself for what people say you are, right?
Mm,
And then you're gonna look at yourself and see who you really are. And you're gonna drop all the crap that you've been answering to. And little
mm,
by little, you're gonna love those little things that people taught you to hate about yourself.
mm,
And when you really start looking at yourself, okay, I like this or I like that, or you have a real conversation with yourself in the mirror, just you and yourself in the mirror,
mm,
whether it makes you cry or it makes you laugh or it makes you think, you have a soulful relationship with yourself in that mirror. That mirror exercise starts from feeling really uncomfortable to doing it because a lot of us don't look at ourselves that long,
mm,
you know? But the bottom line to it is this: are we going to change that person in the mirror? And how does that look in
mm,
changing that person? So yeah.
yeah, for sure. Look, Natalie, you're right, and I think a lot of people will mistake self confidence and even things like assertiveness and having your boundaries as being narcissistic. I agree with you. As long as you're not overriding anyone else, then there's no problem. There's no issue at all. I have no problem just being me and having, even having an ego, maybe. That's why I keep talking about every so often. It's a good thing. So we're almost done, Doctor. We're almost done. So so Mike says, "Know you are loved by God and love yourself, then love others. But being loving doesn't mean that you're a doormat." That's the point, Mike. I think that really is the point,
That's
right?
exactly the point.
Mm, yeah.
That's exact. They want you to be a doormat. That's what they
Mm,
want. But
yeah.
yes, I love this. This was a great talk. We never can do an hour. That's the thing. It never
Mm.
works.
It's
But
close
we're
though.
gonna
It's not bad. It's not bad today. An hour 15 minutes. It's not bad at
okay.
all for us.
Well,
That's
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 because
pretty
you
good.
were on top of it today, Annie. That's why.
I have to go and get some food, and also I have my show at 10 o'clock. So I said, "No, do join us. You're being your authentic self in business live." And I say,
Yes.
I want to ask, and I want to answer the question: how do you know what your purpose is? How do you know what your divine given purpose is? I mean, that's the question I want us to discuss in my room at 10 o'clock, which is what,
Okay.
2.5 hours. So please join us. I want to hear all your thoughts. Right,
I will
Mike.
try very hard.
Sorry. Yeah, no, please, no, please do if you can. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Um, which lyrics? Which lyrics, James? Which lyrics? No, say I've close out with these lyrics. You have to send me the lyrics somewhere, James. I'm okay. I'll look on my WhatsApp see if it's there. Natalie says, "This is the last comment I can see. The mental health awareness is a good reframe." With reference to Dr. Yvonne share about her niece or nephew's comment. It's. I'm sorry, I'm uncertain which, but whether niece or nephew doesn't really know. I think it was a girl, a young girl that said it, and her son who was responding and saying that's not true, and don't go there again. So it's a good thing. Look, before we go, my friends, before I'll come back to you in a second, Dr. Yvonne. Let's have you booked for our masterclass, my friend. If you haven't booked, hurry up and book, please, for your sake. So we'll have this masterclass on Tuesday next week where we're showing you how to make money on repeat on LinkedIn. Not just money, but make thousands a month. There's three essential parts to the masterclass. What you're going to learn, what you're going to go away with. There's a workbook. So you're going to have an action plan. We're going to show you how to create offers that people actually want to buy. And then we'll show you how to attract and engage your ideal clients who are high value clients, who are willing to pay your price. And they will show you how to essentially go away and implement those. So we're tapping into Christina's genius. I say that I say those words carefully because I've seen them help many people start their own business, start making money. It can be done. If you're making money, fine, you can ignore me. If you're not making, the money you deserve, the money that you dream of, especially using LinkedIn, then book up. No, scan that QR code. Yeah, book for the masterclass on Tuesday next week. It's 2.5 hours. It's $75. Yeah, and then you will go away, and for my dreams that you would transform your business. That's what I'm all about this year.
Yes,
You know,
that's what we need to do.
yes. Let's stop talking. Let's stop playing small. Let's start making the wealth. Let's start building the wealth that we need to build. Let's start making us. But it comes down to serving more people, right? And like I said, there's three
Yeah.
steps in our process. You learn how to serve more people, and they'll pay you. What you deserve for sure, if not more, right? Anyway, look, the QR code's there. So I'm probably gonna DM all of you anyway. Don't be haters. If I DM you, if you're not interested, okay, you're not interested. If you want to carry on, as you are. That's fine. But don't be like, I need stop DMing me. I'm like, anyway, enough of that. Dr. Yvonne,
Sorry.
so now, is there an answer to Michael's question about how do you heal when you don't control of yourself?
There's an answer. I think it's a long answer. Maybe that could be our next topic,
Okay.
because that's gonna take me into overtime, like way overtime. I'm literally sitting in front of my next appointment. So
Okay. Cool.
with
Okay.
that, thank
I'll
you
copy
guys.
it.
Michael, we'll make that the next topic. How's that?
Yeah.
And then you can please get up on stage with us and help discuss that thoroughly.
Yeah.
How's that? I think that
Yeah.
we should do that, Annie.
Okay, so I'll just I've saved it.
Make a
That'll be our
note of
next
it.
topic.
Yeah.
I like to know what we'll talk about next. My friends, thank you
Okay.
so much, and thank you so much for being
Yeah.
understanding. If you're on our YouTube, please like and comment on today's video, please. And I'd love to have loads of
Yeah. So
comments.
please follow my channel on YouTube as well. I'm getting back to it, so that would be great.
We're
Yes.
gonna start.
Thank
We
you,
have to start
guys.
streaming to it. No, we'll start adding and start streaming to your channel as well.
Oh,
We should.
you have to teach me that. You know, I don't know
I
anything
will.
about this stuff.
I will.
All
Don't
right.
worry. We'll get it done. Look, bye everyone. Come to my show at 10 o'clock. I'm gonna DM you. Bye everyone.
Will
Bye.
do. Yes. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Bye-bye.
And he sees you. He sees you. He sees you. Oh, from the children with no voice in borrowed rooms, to the magazines that carry their truth. 25 years of the same steady hand, finding the ones who fell through the cracks of the plan. From Mitcham to Croydon, from London to the world, every flag he planted said,